Okay, so the topic we are talking today on is registration. So for registration, we'll go in a very brief manner. See, it's almost 3 years. We have done multiple registration, and the whole agenda of the course is very unique. That again a revision in a short crisp way, and so refresher course. आप घर बैठे हुए हैं वो कुछ करने को नहीं है पूरी जीएसटी के बारे में रिवाइज कर लीजिए फटाक से तो we'll just touch upon very important provisions with respect to registrations and we'll also talk about the respective rules and also the very recent amendments which has been there on account of registration. So, who are liable to get registered? Number one, who is liable to get registered as per section 22 and 24 and 345. And number two is who wants to get registered voluntarily, right? In every such state from where he is making taxable supply of goods or service. The important is जहां से वो टैक्सेबल सप्लाई कर रहा है गुड्स एंड सर्विस का वहां वो लायबल है रजिस्ट्रेशन के लिए एक क्वेरी लेते हैं लेट्स से I can ask the organizer to just the chat box is on I suppose the chat box is on no? So yeah
yes it is on
yeah so I will ask the participants to answer me over a chat box that what is the answer of a question if I am registered in West Bengal and I am also having an ancestral property in Rajasthan. कुछ करने का नहीं है वहां पर एक प्रॉपर्टी है ताला बंद पड़ा हुआ है किसी ने आया जान पहचान में और मुझे बोला कि अभिषेक वी नीड द प्रॉपर्टी ऑन रेंट you don't need to give anything any staff any manpower resource anything but simply I need your premises on rent so I am still in Bengal and I said okay take the property on rent the question is am I liable to get registered that is not for residential purpose let it be that is for a commercial purpose so am I liable to get registered please answer in the chat box yes no what is your view okay yes 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 supply of the services yes 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 okay okay
you are also asking the question that in which state registration is to be obtained
sir I am registered in Bengal okay I am registered in West Bengal my question is very simple that I am a registered person in Bengal and I am also having a property in Rajasthan
whether registration is required in Rajasthan or not
whether registration is required in Rajasthan or not okay okay so I will share my thoughts now friends please understand for today it is very clear registration is not required in Rajasthan as per my humble view you are making taxable supply of service from Kolkata itself if you see the definition of place of business of fixed establishment in the act it is very clear that they said from where you are making supply of service sir from Kolkata only I am making supply of service the only thing is I till the moment I am not till the moment I am just hold on yeah till the moment I am not required to have my human resource hired there or till the moment I am not required to have my technical resource there is no permanent degree of establishment of mine so I'm not required to have a registration there I can simply raise a IGST bill from Kolkata to the person who is registered in Rajasthan as a tenant of mine so coming to the PPT okay so it is very important to understand where the liability is there to get registered So from where? मैं Calcutta से service दे रहा हूँ, तो I am liable to get registered. I am registered here. I am no longer required to get registered in Rajasthan. To move further, as Abhishek Tibrewal very effectively discussed the definition of the aggregate turnover, the aggregate value of all taxable supplies, exempt supplies, exports, goods, services, both intra person having same PAN number to be computed on all India level basis. Sir, please have a note. This is really very important that CGST, SGST, IGST is not included. Inward supplies with respect to reverse are not included. Perfect. Sir, I will just take a scenario. Sir, 17-18 का एग्रीगेट टर्नओवर का लिमिट कितना था? 2 करोड़. जीएसटी ऑडिट का लिमिट कितना था? 2 करोड़. सर 18-19 में कितना हो गया? 5 करोड़. एग्रीगेट टर्नओवर कैसे देखे? बैलेंस शीट लाओ देख लेते हैं. सर बैलेंस शीट लाने से देखने से नहीं चलेगा. सिनेरियो समझिए एक बार सर. मैं बंगाल में रजिस्टर्ड हूँ, मैं असम में रजिस्टर्ड हूँ, मैं बिहार में रजिस्टर्ड हूँ. आई एम हैविंग जीएसटी नंबर. मैंने बंगाल से 10 लाख की माल बिहार में भेजी, मैंने बंगाल से 20 लाख की माल असम में भेजी. So aggregate turnover for Bengal will include this 10 and 20, 15 lakh rupees stock transfer among the states. So aggregate turnover for Bengal is the turnover of Bengal plus stock transfer to Bengal plus stock transfer to Assam. Sir, ये हो गया aggregate turnover of खाली बंगाल का. क्योंकि मेरी पैन नंबर जो बंगाल वाली है वो सेम है असम और बिहार में भी, मुझे सिमिलरली एग्रीगेट टर्नओवर निकालनी पड़ेगी बंगाल की, बिहार की, असम की, और मुझे पैन लेवल ऐड करना पड़ेगा और मुझे फिर चेक करना पड़ेगा कि मेरा एग्रीगेट टर्नओवर क्या है. सो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कि हम सिर्फ बैलेंस शीट मंगवा के चेक नहीं कर सकते कि सर आपका जीएसटी ऑडिट एप्लीकेबल है या नहीं. सर जीएसटी ऑडिट छोड़ दीजिए, अभी अगर अपने ड्यू डेट्स का बात करें जो 3rd अप्रैल को आया है. अच्छा, it's not a sir, I'm just deviating from my topic for a while. The due date which came on 3rd April is not extension of due dates. It's only relaxation in due dates. Sir, वो interest, वो late fees, वो penalty जो माफ है with conditions, वो खाली relax है provided अगर आप वो period, वो जो relaxation है उसके अंदर भर लो. तो अगर वो डेट भी आप क्रॉस कर देते हो तो बैक टू पेविलियन आपकी सारी लेवी लेट फीस लगेगी, पेनल्टी लगेगी, इंटरेस्ट लगेगी. 5 करोड़ के ऊपर 9% इंटरेस्ट लग रही है, वो 18% लग जाएगी, राइट, फॉर पीपल हैविंग टर्नओवर मोर देन 5 करोड़. सो अगेन आप कैसे डिसाइड करोगे कि आपको 9%, 5 करोड़ के नीचे वाले को इंटरेस्ट लगेगी नहीं, 5 करोड़ के ऊपर वाले को इंटरेस्ट लगेगी. 5 करोड़ क्या सर? टर्नओवर इन द प्रीसीडिंग फाइनेंशियल ईयर. सर प्रीसीडिंग फाइनेंशियल में क्या चेक करना है? बैलेंस शीट का टर्नओवर? नहीं सर, एग्रीगेट टर्नओवर. वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू जज टुडे इन द मॉर्निंग इटसेल्फ. Please check with your accountant, check with your team what is the aggregate turnover to ensure and educate your clients that आपका इंटरेस्ट लगेगा नहीं लगेगा. सर अभी तो ऑफिस बंद है, बाद में कर दीजिएगा, डेट एक्सटेंड हो गया. सर डेट एक्सटेंड नहीं हुआ है, इट्स रिलैक्सेशन, इंटरेस्ट इज स्टिल लेविएबल. तो प्लीज 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 पे अटेंशन ऑन द सेम, राइट. Moving further, I've just put it in mathematically. All taxable supplies plus exempt supplies plus exports of goods and services plus interstate supplies, not including CGST, SGST, UTGST, IGST tax amount, and not including inward supplies on which RCM is paid. Okay. So now, sir, there is lot of confusion कि मेरा threshold limit है क्या? What is my threshold limit? सर कोई बोलता है 10 लाख, कोई बोलता है 20 लाख, कोई बोलता है 40 लाख हो गया, कोई बोलता है नहीं 10 लाख है. आई डोंट नो. सो लेट्स डिस्कस वन बाय वन. Okay. So one is, first we are talking about special category cases. As per section 22, the special category case says that aggregate turnover is 10 lakh rupees for special category cases. Now a proviso has been added and said if the state wants, that can be extended to 20 lakh rupees. A proviso says that if a particular state wants one who falls in a special category cases, then the 10 lakh can be extended to 20 lakh rupees. So please take a note. What is special category states? The special category states are informed to us in 2 papers. Number 1 is Constitution and number 2 is Section. So explanation 3 of section 22 says The expression special category states shall mean the states as specified in subclause G of 4 of 279A, which Tibrewal discussed very clearly, of the Constitution. Now it is starting his version. The Act is talking about his version. Except state of Jammu and Kashmir, the CGST extension to Jammu and Kashmir Act 2017 dated 23rd of August 17, and states of Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Himachal Pradesh, Meghalaya, Sikkim, and Uttarakhand. This is wide notification 2/19 dated 29 January. So please take a note. Why I am specifying on this, because on the third slide I will give you a current scenario of the threshold limits of different states. So we have to read the notifications very clearly. Let's say your client is having a registration in multiple states. हाँ सर 20 लाख है, नहीं सर आपको चेक करना पड़ेगा कौन से स्टेट में कब से क्या है. So that's the reason I'm giving the effective dates, because from that effective dates it is applicable. So special category cases 10 lakhs can go to 20 lakhs. Rest of India, that is other than special category states, it is 20 lakhs. Now for supplier of goods, again a proviso is added. For supplier of goods, a supplier who exclusively dealing goods, the government notified that the threshold limits may go up to 40 lakh rupees. Again, that is on the states. So 10 lakh rupees for special category states can go to 20 lakhs. Number one. Number two, 40 lakhs, 20 lakhs, which can go to 40 lakhs for rest of India. Okay. So I have just briefed the current position. I believe DTPA will be sharing the presentations with you. So please pay attention, stop taking noting. We'll be sharing for it. The threshold limit for the persons, exclusive involving supply of goods, supply of goods and service, both two columnars. First three is other states, rest of India, that is other than special category states. And the second half is special category. In special category, we have divided as per section 22 and not as per section 22. So if you see rest of India also, 20 lakh was the original limit, which was given an option of 40 lakhs rupees. Telangana and Puducherry have not yet shifted to 40 lakhs. They are still moving at 20 lakhs because of the state have a take that if they increase their threshold limit, many registered person will be out of the ambit. For supply of goods and service, they are still having 20 lakhs. Special category case, 10 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 10 lakhs for those who are in special category as per section 22. And for others, Assam is 40, Jammu and Kashmir is 40, Himachal and Arunachal is 40, rest is 20. So please take a note, the third proviso which got inserted in 22 said that even if 1 rupee of service is there, your threshold have to be again 20 lakhs. If you exclusively deal in goods, then only you can go for 40 lakhs. While explanation, they have clarified that अगर आपका interest income आता है on deposits, on loans, वो आप allow है, उसमें अगर वो भी आता है, then also your threshold limit would be considered as 40 lakhs if you are dealing exclusively in goods. अगर मेरे rent वाले example में, let's say I am a shopkeeper and I am having a turnover of 40 lakh rupees. But now I am having a interest income from bank 50,000 rupees. Not an issue, sir. आप registration मत लीजिए. But now I am having a rental income from my ancestral property 5,000 rupees a month. Sir, registration liable, because for you the threshold limit is now becoming 20 lakhs and not 40 lakhs. So I speak much on the topic on this particular slide because this was very, very important to clear the doubts of the profession. Moving further, section 24 talks about the mandatory registration which is required to be taken. The person making interstate supplies. Sir, this is about outward supplies. If I am making any interstate supplies, I am leaving IGST, or if let's say I'm not a registered person and I am supplying goods or service to a person located outside my state. The POS is outside my state. I am liable to get registered straight. Sir, CTP, casual taxable person. So basically this is driven from the previous VAT law. If a person from Bengal goes to Delhi for participating in an exhibition, then that person needs to have a casual taxable person registration in that state. We'll discuss about this in the later slides. Non-resident taxable person, again a non-resident person who is required to get registered is liable to have a mandate registration irrespective of the turnover. This slide, whatever we are talking, even 1 rupee turnover, they are liable to get registered. Person required to pay tax and a reverse charge. Sir, let's say if a person is there and he is he's liable to pay tax under reverse charge in a normal 9394 provisions, then if he is not registered, then also he might be liable to get registered. I'm using the word might because I will connect this point with the next slide. Tax director, tax collector, sir, mandatory registration required. Input service distributor, mandatory registration required. E-commerce operator, person supplying goods via e-commerce operator, person supplying goods or service on behalf of other person. So very important. Principal agent. If your agent is supplying goods or service on your behalf, then he is liable to get registered. So for this, we have to go to definitions of the word agent in CGST Act vis-a-vis the definition of the word intermediary in IGST Act. We have to go to the intent of the law that they have not used here the word agent or intermediary, but they have said that person supplying goods or service on behalf of the other person. And this on behalf of the other person is very, very important to understand whether GST is leviable or not. For giving a hint in a paucity of time, I will just say that's the reason almost all the travel agents are registered, irrespective of their turnover. Person supplying online information and database access or retrieval services from a place outside India to a person in India, mandatory registration required. Others as been notified. So I've covered the section 24 list down that where the registrations are mandatory irrespective of the turnover. Okay. Any person engaged exclusively in the business of supplying goods or service that are not liable to tax or wholly from the tax under the act. So I'll give you an example. Let's say I am having 50 flats in West Bengal, and I have given the 50 flats on rental basis, on rentals to the residents who is residing here, or who are tenant in my property. So sir, it's a residential property, residential dwelling given for the residential purpose. Exempt supply. सर महीना का टर्नओवर है 50 लाख रुपया, साल भर में 6 करोड़ रुपया, दरकार नहीं है जीएसटी रजिस्ट्रेशन. An agriculturist to the extent of supply of produce out of cultivation of land, GST registration not required. The government may specify the category of persons who may be exempted. The government के पास पावर है कि वो बोल दे कि यार इस केसेस में जीएसटी का रजिस्ट्रेशन दरकार ही नहीं है. I have covered 2 examples. Number 1, supplies cover under RCM. So please take a note. Government has clarified that now if you are, so this is contradictory to the section 24 which I am talking. If you read 23, it is that you are not required to get registered in first 2 points. If you read section 24, they say that agar aapka reverse charge mein hai to you are liable to get registered. Now the government clarified this, that if a person who is not required to get registered under GST, and for example have taken a lawyer service, advocate service and paid 5,000 rupees, he is liable to pay tax on RCM. Only for that purpose he might not opt for GST registration. This is the clarification issued by the government. Similarly, job worker, I have said in the previous slide, interstate supply registration mandatory. But again, a clarification came that job worker making interstate supply, the principal is a registered person. The job worker is making interstate supply. The job worker might be located in Hyderabad, and I, being a principal located in Kolkata, I have given my clothes to get the dye processing done in Hyderabad. So that person might be not registered, and he's supplying services to me. Then also he is not required to get registered. So the government will specify have specified in the past also, and might be continuing specifying that where registration is not required by the concerned person. Okay. Now we are going to the procedures for registration, right? So Every person who are liable to get registered should apply for registration in every state in which he is so liable within 30 days from the date of the person become liable to register. So very, very important. This 30 days calculation is very, very important. Every person, जो भी आदमी है जिस स्टेट में भी है जहां से भी वो सप्लाई कर रहा है, वो जिस दिन लाइबल है उसको उस दिन से 30 दिन के अंदर जीएसटी के रजिस्ट्रेशन लेना मैंडेटरी है. We'll talk that if they don't take within 30 days, then what is the effect? For casual and non-resident person, at least 5 days prior to the commencement of the business. So difference है. मैंने यहाँ पर कैलकाटा में बिजनेस स्टार्ट कर दिया और मेरी टर्नओवर थ्रेशोल्ड लिमिट क्रॉस कर गई. Now I am liable to get registered and I am going for a registration. But now if I am having a boutique in Kolkata and I am going for an exhibition in Delhi, the exhibition date is let's say 20 April. So sir 5 दिन पहले तो मुझे अप्लाई करना पड़ेगा at least 5 days पहले of 20, that is 15th. I have to apply if I'm going for a casual taxable person registration. In case of multiple places of business in a state or union territory, the SSC may choose to get all places of business registered separately. So it's a very welcome amendment happened last year. Earlier it was only restricted to business vertical. Subsequently, the government have removed the concept of business vertical and specified that अगर आपका एक ही स्टेट में let's say 10 शोरूम है, एक ही नेचर ऑफ बिजनेस, एक ही बिजनेस वर्टिकल, 10 शोरूम्स है, then you can take 10 registration if you want. Every registration shall be treated as distinct person registration. So very, very important. Irrespective, मेरे बंगाल में 3 रजिस्ट्रेशन है, irrespective मेरे बंगाल में भी एक रजिस्ट्रेशन है और बिहार में भी एक रजिस्ट्रेशन है. It is seen as a different person, distinct person in the eyes of GST law. Voluntary registration can be taken below threshold limit. Sir, मुझे registration लेना है for XYZ reason. I'm not liable to get registered as per section 24 or 22, but I want to get registered. It's time getting registration. PAN-based registration mandatory for TDS deductor, for TDS deductor, and for TDS deductor, since PAN is not available, then TAN is equivalent, and for non-resident, other prescribed document will be prescribed as per the government. Okay. So now, sir, I will be again requesting everyone to come to chat box. Come to chat box and reply me. Reply me on this. The date of liability of the registration was 10th of August 2017. Date of application से 30 डेज के अंदर के करना था, प्रोविजन बोलता है, पर आपने 30 डेज के अंदर कर दिया. 10 तारीख था, आपने 15 तारीख में कर दिया, 5 दिन में कर दिया. आपको जीएसटी का रजिस्ट्रेशन मिला 18 अगस्त को. What is the question is, what is the effective registration date? The registration will be effective from which date? I want this answers either 10th of August or 15th of August or 18th of August. Tenth, 18th, from the date when he is liable to register, 18th. Okay. 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 So answer is 10th only, because since he has applied within 30 days, his effective date will be the date of liability where is required to register. So it means वो 10 तारीख के बाद से जो भी परचेज किया उन सब पे उनको क्रेडिट मिल सकती है. Taking example next, 1st August they are liable to get registered, but उन्होंने 30 दिन में अप्लाई नहीं किया, उन्होंने 30 दिन के बाद अप्लाई किया एंड उनको उसके 10 दिन बाद जीएसटी रजिस्ट्रेशन मिल गई. नाउ व्हाट इज द इफेक्टिव डेट फ्रॉम जीएसटी रजिस्ट्रेशन ऑफ जीएसटी रजिस्ट्रेशन? 1 अगस्त, 5 सितंबर और 15 सितंबर. 1 अगस्त, 5 सितंबर और 15 सितंबर, 15 सितंबर, 15 सितंबर, 15 सितंबर। Okay. So guys, you guys are correctly right, and I am sure you got the difference of the intent, that if a person missed this 30 days, then what is the impact, right? अगर वो 30 दिन के अंदर कर लेता है तो उसका जिस दिन लाइबिलिटी है वो उस दिन से कंटिन्यू कर सकता है, और एल्स उनका जिस दिन उनको रजिस्ट्रेशन मिलेगा वो उस दिन से उनका जीएसटी रजिस्ट्रेशन इफेक्टिव होगा. वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, एंड टू इंश्योर दैट no client lose because of this provisions. Okay. Now we are discussing about the very recent changes on GST on the registration part. There are 3 changes which came with the notifications of 16/20. Rule 8 of the registration rules talks about application of registration. While notification rules sub-rule 4A got inserted, which states that from 1st of April, 1 अप्रैल से अगर आप रजिस्ट्रेशन अप्लाई करते हैं तो वो आधार ऑथेंटिकेशन के बिना नहीं होगा. रूल 9 बोलता है इन एनी केस आपको आधार कार्ड अलॉटेड ही नहीं है, सो आपको जीएसटी के रजिस्ट्रेशन तभी मिलेगी जब आपका प्रॉपर ऑफिसर आपके प्रिंसिपल प्लेस ऑफ बिजनेस में विजिट करेगा इन प्रेजेंस ऑफ द सेड पर्सन. इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. सो सी अंडरस्टैंड, अगर आप इसका प्रेस रिलीज देखो ना तो उसमें उन्होंने लिखा है टू अवॉइड दिस फेक इनवॉइस कंपनीज एंड ऑल, तो दे हैव गिवन द इंटेंट, एंड जो नोटिफिकेशन लाया है वो भी इसमें समझ में आ रहा है, सेम लाइन पे है कि देयर माइट बी वेरियस कंपनी हु डोंट इवन एग्जिस्ट, सो द पर्सन्स ऑन हुम द कंपनी इज रनिंग डोंट इवन एग्जिस्ट. तो आधार ऑथेंटिकेशन होने से वो थोड़ा सा बचेगा, और जहां आधार ऑथेंटिकेशन नहीं हो रहा है वहां पर्सनल विजिट होगा ऑन द प्लेस ऑफ द प्रीमाइसेस प्रिंसिपल बिजनेस in front of the person जो applicant है. Very very important and very welcome provision. Sir, next is rule 25 talks about physical verification of business premises in certain cases. Sir, this is a procedure that जो ऑफिसर आएगा वो REG 30 में आपका जो भी इंस्पेक्ट करेगा उसका रिपोर्ट विथ फोटोग्राफ्स विथ और अदर डॉक्यूमेंट्स अपलोड करेगा ऑनलाइन विद इन 15 वर्किंग डेज. सर आपका वो जो आया है प्रीमाइसेस में वो उसका फोटो भी लेगा एंड 15 डेज में अपलोड करेगा. सो हेंस फॉर रजिस्ट्रेशन आर थोड़ा सा क्रिटिकल, राइट? दिस इज द 3 बेसिक changes in the rules of GST registration. Okay. With Aadhaar card authentication, following shall be exempted. Number 1, person who is not citizen of India, but obvious, उसके बाद आधार कार्ड होंगे नहीं. Second, a class of person other than the following class of person. मतलब individual is not exempted. मतलब authorized signatory of all types are not exempted. मतलब if I am an authorized signatory of my company, I have to go through Aadhaar card authentication. Managing and authorized partners of a partnership firm, कर्ता of HUF. तो सर मतलब जो साइन कर रहा है या जो इंडिविजुअल है वो उसको एग्जेम्पशन नहीं मिल सकता, और जो नॉन सिटीजन है ऑफ इंडिया उनको एग्जेम्पशन मिल रहा है. And again, the same thing repeats that if the Aadhaar number is not assigned to an individual, then rule 9, that is physical verification के थ्रू आपको जीएसटी का रजिस्ट्रेशन मिल सकती है. Again, fresh application. I've just drafted this in a flow chart to save time because theoretical है. Forwarded to application by the applicant, forwarded to the proper officer for examination. Application found in the order. Application found deficient. Either of the two होगा, चाहे application सही है या application कुछ गड़बड़ है. अगर application सही है 3 common working days में registration मिल जाता है, अगर नहीं है तो intimate होता है आपको 3 common working days में. Applicant shall furnish details in REG4 within 7 working days from the intimation. Based on the clarification or the info, the proper officer is satisfied, approve within 7 days your registration. अगर वो satisfied नहीं है तो reject कर देता है with reasons. This is the overall journey of the fresh application of the registrations. Okay, as we discussed, CTP and NRTP. Certificate of registration is issued to a CTP or an NRTP will be valid for a period as specified in the application. सर मैं exhibition लगाने जा रहा हूँ जो 2 हफ्ते का है, तो 2 हफ्ता defined है, कोई बात नहीं. Or 90 days from the effective date of registration, whichever is earlier. Only when the registration is granted, taxable supplies can be made by the applicant. उसके पहले वो वहां से माल सप्लाई नहीं कर सकते। सच पीरियड कैन बी एक्सटेंडेड बाय द प्रॉपर ऑफिसर बाय अ फर्दर पीरियड नॉट एक्सटेंडिंग 90 days. At the time of application, very important, they have to deposit an estimate amount of tax liability for a period of such registration. आप वहां जा रहे हो, वहां से माल बिक्री कर रहे हो, आपको एस्टिमेट बताना पड़ेगा कि कितनी की टैक्स लायबिलिटी बन सकती है और उतना आपको पे करना पड़ेगा एट द टाइम ऑफ रजिस्ट्रेशन ओनली. The deposited amount shall be credited to the electronic credit ledger and utilized at the time of payment subsequently. तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं है इसमें. Okay. Now I am quickly covering a small flowchart of amendments. तो we regularly file amendments. सर हम क्या क्या amendment कर सकते हैं? Legal name, address, addition or deletion of name of the partners, KMP, excluding PAN नहीं कर सकते. Phone number, mail ID. So we can divide theoretically in the core fields and non-core fields. I have just listed out the flowchart. The moment you apply, relating to change in this fresh application in form GSTR RAG 014, everything found in order, yes, straight away approval of the amendment in form RAG 15. If everything is not in order, within 15 working days, a notice of deficiency form RAG 03 will be given. Clarification by the applicant is to be given again back to the officer within 7 working days in RAG 04. If the officer is not satisfied, rejection of the amendment application, and if the officer is satisfied, approval for the amendment in RAG 15. Please take a note, friends. Deemed amendment in case of no action to be taken by the proper officer within 15 days of the application or 7 days of the reply. अगर आपने अप्लाई कर दिया 15 दिन तक आंसर नहीं आया, समझ लीजिए आपका अमेंडमेंट हो गया. या आपने रिप्लाई कर दिया और 7 दिन तक रिप्लाई नहीं आया ऑफिसर का, तो प्लीज assume that it is deemed approved. Deemed approved. Okay. So now there is a terminology called suspension. ये नया आया हुआ है. Suspension क्या बोलता है हमें कि मैं रजिस्ट्रेशन मुझे दिख रहा है कि मेरा रजिस्ट्रेशन रिकॉर्ड नहीं है. आई अप्लाइड फॉर कैंसिलेशन. ऑन दिस आई विल जस्ट talk about amendment. Now a person who got registered voluntarily can also apply for a registration whenever he wants. So application for cancellation of registration. अब मैंने गया और मैं बोला कि भैया मुझे registration नहीं चाहिए. I've applied for the cancellation of the registration. It is deemed that my registration is suspended from a date of the submission of the application जिस दिन मैंने apply किया, or from the date which cancellation is sought, whichever is later. Scenario 2 क्या है कि officer have reasons to believe that he may also suspend the registration. So अगर officer भी suspend कर देता है तो from a date which is suitable to him, he can suspend my registration. So what to do in the suspension? During suspension, the person shall not levy tax on offer supplies. मैं जो भी माल बेच रहा हूँ, जो भी offer supplies कर रहा हूँ, I'm not entitled to levy GST on the same, and shall not require to file returns. और मुझे return भी नहीं भरनी, right? And this again the process goes and for end in the cancellation if required. So what is cancellation? So cancellation of the registration can be cancelled by the proper officer or by application from the SSC. मैं भी apply कर सकता हूँ और officer भी मेरा cancel कर सकता है suo motu. The officer can cancel the registration from any date, including earlier date, where the registered taxable person has contravened any provision of this act. A person registered under the composition scheme has not filed return for 3 consecutive tax periods. Any registered person other than a first mentioned person has not filed a return for continuous period of 6 months. सर बहुत ऐसे सी है आज के दिन में हमारे पास जिनका सालों भर से रजिस्ट्रेशन नहीं भरा हुआ है. So please educate this very important provision and scare them out कि बॉस आपका रजिस्ट्रेशन ही कैंसिल हो सकता है. Where a voluntary registered person has commenced business within 6 months from the date of the such registration, he can also opt for cancellation. So very important slide. I'm providing the last slide. The cancellation of registration will not affect the liability of the tax of registered taxable person, whether or not such tax dues are determined before or after the date of the cancellation. सर मैंने बिजनेस चालू किया, मैंने कुछ गलती कर दी या कुछ भूल कर दी एंड सब्सिक्वेंटली वो बिजनेस बंद हो गया, तो आई अप्लाई फॉर द कैंसिलेशन एंड द कैंसिलेशन प्रोसेस गॉट थ्रू एंड फाइनल रिटर्न भर दिया, सर सब कुछ क्लोज हो गया. 2 साल बाद मेरे पास कोई डिमांड आता है एंड आई एम कन्विंस कि हाँ वो मेरी गलती है। लेट्स से आपने 28% की जगह 12% चार्ज किया था, तो यू हैव नॉट यू हैव लेस चार्ज एंड ड्यू टू व्हिच यू आर लायबल टू पे टू द गवर्नमेंट द टैक्स विद इंटरेस्ट विद पेनल्टी। सो गवर्नमेंट हैव spoke very clearly in the act that boss, आपका registration cancel हो जाए, I'm not bothered, you are still liable for paying this liability. So that's all. I have briefed the topic in the given paucity of time. What I've also done is, for the reference, I have just one slide. Revocation of the cancellation of registration. अगर गवर्नमेंट अगर डिपार्टमेंट ही मेरा रजिस्ट्रेशन कैंसिल कर देता suo moto, I have the power to revoke that cancellation within 30 days. And वो जो पीरियड है रिवोकेशन का एंड कैंसिलेशन का, इसका भी मुझे रिटर्न भरना पड़ेगा. आई एम लायबल टू फाइल द रिटर्न्स फॉर द सेम पीरियड. So just for the reference, I have given the all the forms with the details in a tabular form to refer. We can always refer this. All the forms has been listed out here for the each purpose, agenda, and details. So that's all from my side. Thank you for the patience hearing.